Welcome back to the channel. Today is the first video in a new series where I will teach you how to write programs in TI Basic on your calculator. In this video, we will be covering how to create a new program, how to type, learning basic inputs, and displaying outputs. For this example, we will be creating a quadratic formula program. To get started, press the Program button and scroll all the way over to the right and hit Enter on New. It will prompt you to name your program. As you can see, it automatically turns on Alpha Lock. This allows you to type in the green letters above your keys without hitting alpha after every letter. In the future, you can manually turn on Alpha Lock by pressing second and then alpha. Naming allows you to use up to 8 characters, so let's type in quadratic without the I. Hitting enter will take you to the first line, but let's take a step back and press second quit to return to the home screen. If you go back into the program menu, the other two options we haven't looked at are execute and edit. Right now our program doesn't have anything to execute, so let's scroll over to edit and hit enter on our program. Now that we can edit our program, let's first learn what we can type in. When you hit program, it brings you to a menu. The two most important parts of this menu you will use is the control menu and the input-output menu. Today we will mainly focus on the input-output menu, more specifically the input command and the display command. To start things out, I always like to clear my home screen before anything else. To do this, click the 8th option in the menu which says Clear Home. This brings you back to the editor. Now to get to the next line, you just press enter. The next thing we'll do is add a line to display a quadratic equation to the user. To do this, hit the Program button, scroll over to the Input-Output menu, and hit Enter on the third option which says Display. Whenever we're using the display command, we want to put our text in quotes. To do this, hit alpha and then the plus sign to type a quotation mark. Then type in a quadratic equation using the alpha key to type letters and the x squared button on the left. Then to type the equal sign, hit second, then math, and it's the first option under the test menu. Finally, make sure to end your display command with another quotation mark. Hit enter to go to the next line. Now we're going to ask the user to input their variables. To do this, hit the Program button, scroll over to the Input-Output menu, and hit enter on the first option which says Input. Like the display command, we're going to put our text in quotes. To type the question mark, hit alpha and then the negative key. And then to store the user's input into a variable, you put a comma after the text and then select a letter to store it into, in this case A. Then you're going to repeat this step for the other variables. And now let me show you what this looks like from a user perspective. Quit back to the home screen, then hit the Program button and hit enter twice to execute our quadratic program. It will display the quadratic equation and ask for us to input our 3 variables. However, it will stop after that, so now we need to tell our program what to do with those variables. So going back to the program editor, let's store the value of the discriminant into a variable, say d. Hit enter for a new line and type the expression b squared minus 4ac. Then to store this into a variable, hit the store button in the bottom left and then type the letter d. In the next 2 lines, we can use our variables to type the expression for our solutions and store each one into their own variable. In this case, I'm using E and F. Make sure to use the correct order of operations as well. Now we are able to display these answers. So in the next 2 lines, set up your display commands and starting with quotation marks right after. Our text can be just as simple as x equals. And then just as we did with our input command, displaying outputs also uses a comma after our pieces of text, and then the variable we want to display, in this case E and F. Now we can see what our entire program looks like as a whole from the user perspective, so quitting out of our editor and then going back to execute our quadratic program. If we type in our previous example, where A is 1, B is 5, and C is 6, it'll display our solutions for x. Now you might be thinking that some examples have only one solution or even no real solutions, and you wouldn't be wrong. In the next video, we will be adding on to this program to account for these different solution types by using conditional statements. See you then.